Lama dang gombo jen zen dambe yang chuan za lo yin gang ge lo zhen zhen ye zhen zhe nian dai nan dai ra sa wei jen nian den gen jen xian zen zhe nian jian dong ga ra le pa Andai se be zen ra ma re men doi dong hai ge se Rong zoi kun lai bon jian tran jie yan lai zhong jiu yang de Rong zhai chen zhui nie mo nie long Lin jian jiang zhui zhong zhen jie Ma re men sen dong ai nyung go chen yan chen zi ran Dene da jian san jian tra zi yuan den den zoi jia zen de wen zhe zha jiu dai jiu nian jian zhe la le men se jiang bei yang la de Om Ara Bhasana Om Ara Bhasana Om Aram Banzana Inde Zende Jen 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 Rai Wen Sen Ji Ale De Moi Memba Era Sane Yada Inde Je Yong Lo Dong Ba Yi Lun Zhen Bun Be Na Wa Soin Duin Soin Yang Zhen Da Wen De Ba Jong Zhen Zhe Wen De Na Wen Buen Jam Yang Che Nian Nian Ge Me Ba Yang Dong Wa Rai Shu Wen Soin Du Zhen Ga Rai Shi Zhe Zhen Be Mai Be Mai Zhen Ba Ni Shu Sun Zai Nam Nyan Den Den Jan Zai Soin Gan Dre Lama Nan Lai So Wan De Wen Jian San Jian Nian Ben Tun Jian Zhen Dren Chen Zhun Dui Jan Zai Ko Lun De Nan Drai Samye Nian Den Den Zhen Ge Chon Jirai Ling Ben Sha Lai So Wan De Yang Ba Lai Chen Lai Ben Me Nam Ban Zhu Yan Se Lan Jie Yang Se Jo Som Ba Gan Ba Yin Den Den Ben Ma Yin Dong A Lin Zhang Yang Yin Chen Ze Wang Bo Yin So Wan De Gan Dre Long Jie Be Re Nang Ai Chun Zhen Jian Nam He Xin De Lam Sun Jie Re Men Den Zhen Yuan Den Yang Zhen Xiang Lun Zhen Da Yin Xia Lai Su Wan De O Men Chen Jie Yin Jian Pon Zhang Nen De Zhen Sang Jian Gun Jie Ngo Rang Sen Chen Gui Wen Zhen Den Zhen Pa Ce Wei Le Me Xia Lan Su Wan De Nama Ye Sam Ba La Yin Ge Dan Lu Dan De Yin Jue De Gong Da Na Yin Ge Nam Dan De Wa Gun Jin Da Jin Sam Jian Ge Don Da Jie Che Den Do Ma Nang Ga Dan Yan De Sen Jian Tang Zhe Dong Ai Jun Den Yi Dan Cha De Nam Ba Tam Ji Chen Ba Sang Ji Ji Sa La Ko Par Cha Pe Che Do Nagi Thare Tambi Chu Ngöndro De Semper Chao Yambe Kono Chanjo Chodo Salt of December Shoes.
So please listen with the motivation of bodhicitta, thinking that I have to establish all the sentient beings who are my mothers on the state of Buddhahood and release them from the suffering and the cause of suffering. And that is why now I'm going to listen to this teaching on the Ngöndro. Please put in place this motivation.
Ne Ngöndro Chiden de la Ngöndro Siktel Ngöndro Kachin Ba, Ngöndro Nyamnen Jiting Disum, Ngöndro Sosak Tupchang Insul, Ngöndro Yewache, Ngayu Nane, Shikong Shisum Bares.
So today we are on the 5th out of the 5 topics. The 5 topics related to the general explanation of the preliminaries are the explanation of the words, preliminary practices, preliminary practice, the explanation of those words. Then the second topic is how the preliminary practices are important. Then the third is the extensive, medium length, and the concise preliminary practices, that division. The fourth is how the preliminary practices purify obscurations and gather the accumulations. And the fifth is the different types of preliminary practice. Now we're on the fifth.
네, 나방문도 예와텔라양, 네, 저방문도 튼징문도 무엇인문도 숨유발에 저방문도 공도 쉬시네, 다른 값을 봐봐대 튼궁문도 베스, 튼궁문도 텔라양, 네, 튼궁문도 이내라, 마리니도도 쉬신바레스, 다른 튼궁문도 무엇이워차와레스.
So the subsections in the fifth topic, which are the types of preliminary practice, are 3. The preliminary practices of the items, requisite items, preliminary practices to the meditation session, and the preliminary practices to the main part. And we're on the first of these, which is the preliminary practices of the requisite items. And among within that topic, we have already finished the first part, which is kind of a accessory or secondary practice related to the preliminaries to the meditation session, the practice of awakening at dawn from the sleep of ignorance.
네, 튼궁문도 무엇이라 드네, 나세예요나, 드네 부기네, 나기네, 이기네, 라말라 솔라드무 투이세바 스메테 시요레스.
So so now we're on the kind of main part of the preliminaries to the meditation session, which has 4 parts: the key points of the body, key points of the speech, key points of the mind, and then the 4th part is supplicating the guru and merging your mind with the guru's mind.
네, 루기네 텔라 드네 루기 네스데 드네 닌가 벤낭한서 미식 답변한한서 레닥시 세고요나 레닥세사기 네디 가와레 대하거나 텔라 루기 네스들에 벤나 레닥세고요나 드네 따잡고요나 다디 레닥이 닝라 잡고라 다디 레닥이 깡발라 잡 라발라 잡나 레닥도 시기 말어 다디 레닥이 닝라 태가라 잡나 드네 레닥도 시기로 드나시 닝가 루기 냠낸 쳤나 루기 닝각들라 드네 카리레스나 드네 루 남낭 쳐드는 셔바드레스.
So now to begin explaining the first of these, which is the key points of the body. Here the word key points, it refers to this kind of crucial points of the body in a similar way to if you're trying to hunt an animal, then you have to know what are the points that you have to hit on the animal in order to kill the animal. If you hit it on the leg or the arm or the tail or something like this, then it may not die and you may not be able to succeed. But if you hit the animal in its heart, which is like its key point or crucial point of the body, of its body, then you will be successful in the hunting. So it's similar idea here. These are the crucial points of the body. So here, it comes down to the 7-point posture of Vairochana.
네, 루남낭 쳐지 대출대 파티 아니 불라네 땅바인 지기. 섬에 나라 땅 유지래 유나 변로나스.
So I sent this photos of these, so please show them. Here's one.
온다 데 대소들라 드네 루남낭 쳐든 라피레 드네 당고 루남낭 쳐든기 남데 당보디 가르스나 tene kangba dorje kidung singdres tangbo.
So this is a diagram of the 7-point posture of Vairochana, and the first of the 7 points in the 7-point posture is that your legs should be in the Vajra posture.
Gonda jirdangi nanang chudin la tene desul manda naga ni yores chik desul didires chik desul didires bakwa kusur tende chimtene les lakitsa tene ngores lakitsa tende senen edeste edeste na nanang chudin chikdir.
Oh, so actually, first I should explain there's 2 different types of 7-point posture of Vairochana. So in one you form fists with your hands like this, and then you have to press on the channels in your thighs with your fists. So your fists are down, pressing the thigh, and do as Drupla is doing. This is one way to do the 7-point Vairochana posture.
ina dang zo te do te be khagu yores ngarang zo te do tanda ngarang par na tang jo te tabu te na digres.
But this may be difficult to do, this style of Vairochana posture. So what we should do now is this type of 7-point Vairochana, 7-point posture of Vairochana that's in this photo.
네 강바 dorje kidung te ani kangba yomba te nangla chu kangba yeba de chilok gangla shabores.
So for the putting your legs in the Vajra posture, you put your left leg inside. So your left leg is on the inside, so you place your left leg on your thigh first, and then you place your right leg over that on the top.
니바 대 라와 냠샤가 라그레스 약월 냠샤스나 라와 yomba te de sha te kangla te lawa yeba de de sha ne tebong ze de tuku yores.
And so the second point is the meditation hand posture. So you put your left hand on the bottom and the right hand on top of it like that, and connect the tips of your thumbs.
Somebody aning anjo subuki kalsik dia tegaro da nangsing sangores kalsik da dar to sangwas tegaro ya bugres.
So the third point is that our spine should be nice and straight, like an arrow, straight as an arrow.
네 시바데 림바 엔잠 국바에 라그레스 나 데라 고 중세 되바스가 되니 개발시다 요 말에 오늘디 베자 가시나나 돈 림바 엔잠 림바 또좀 고고 거레스.
So then the next point, the fourth point, is that you should tilt the way that it's described usually is that you tilt in your neck slightly, just slightly tilting your neck forward, although here it says bend your head slightly forward. In this picture it says it, but this comes down to the same thing. You just bend your head just very slightly forward.
네 나바텔라 네 믹나젤 파바스 믹디 아닝가랑스 나구 나기 제들마 파프레스.
So then the fifth point is that your eyes should be looking down your nose.
네 촉바텔라 네 디나라 소슈랑 밥스 샤바스 데제나라 제야겐라 자라와스 제디 안주 야겐라 자르고레스.
So then the sixth point, it says here sochu rangbap shot, to keep your mouth and your teeth just resting naturally. Although generally it's more often described that you put your tongue on your palate, like you put the tip of your tongue, touch it to the roof of your mouth.
네 디나라 봉바 de dinala medu bomba tene go shop dar jangs chagi shopa go shop de pa inde jango res inde spa inde main bache inde korela inde patel inde se cheme inde se tongba pardon shawres.
Oh. So here it's not written in this picture, but the final one would be that you keep your shoulders like a vulture. Yeah, this is a better picture. I think this has all the Yeah, maybe go to the next picture. I think it has the right one. You keep your shoulders like a vulture. So, yeah, yeah. You keep your shoulders like a vulture. So, Drupla is not like your arms aren't like scrunched together, but you keep some space between your trunk of your body and your arms, like this.
Tela namnam chodin sajras hagosa kangba doji kiltung lakwa nyamsha niba tangbu kangba doji kiltung niba lakwa nyamsha sumba gazik tangbo sangba ane shiba timba enzam gukba ngaba pungba kwedar kyangwa tuba che again jarwa timba mikna chela papas.
Yeah, so this is the 7-point posture of Vairochana. So first, your legs. First point is that your legs are in the Vajra posture. The second point is that your hands are in the meditation posture. And the third is your spine is straight. And the fourth is that your shoulders are like a vulture. I think it's the fourth one. Yeah, there's a no fixed orders. Anyway, maybe the fourth is that your arms are like a vulture, and then fifth, your head is just slightly bent forward, and then the sixth is you're looking down your nose, and the seventh is your tongue. Tip of your tongue is touching the roof of your mouth, the palate.
당나랑저 된데 이류 남랑치도 데이터 대바레데 이나양 데나 펜도 가리요레 고바 가리요레 저 시고고요레스.
So this is nice to know about 7-point posture of Vairochana, but we have to know beyond just knowing what it is, we have to know what's the purpose of using this posture and what is the benefits.
네, 류 남랑치든 데네 펜도당 고바 된저 야고 하마고다 드네 류 남랑치든 데발라 드네 가보 잡고 류 남랑치든 데발라 드네 토낭 잡고 류 남랑치든 데발라 드네 냠 잡고 드네 시도 용거 말레스.
So if we don't understand the benefits and the purpose of sitting in the 7-point Vairochana, 7-point posture of Vairochana, then we won't really have we won't have an interest in sitting in the posture. We won't have any, we won't like doing it. We won't have any interest in doing it. And we won't like doing it. We won't have any interest in doing it. Oh, really? Then we won't have any kind of like joy or joy in doing it. Yeah, like really, it's like to kind of that you showing almost like a pride, but in a good way, like a nice, like have a kind of pride or yeah, this type of pride in a good way of being in the posture.
당나랑저 류 남랑치든 데바이나 펜도 탐보데 드네 나랑기 최체도 베게 드네 고갑당 덴토게.
So the first benefit of sitting in the 7-point posture of Vairochana is that it gives us an opportunity or opening to practice the Dharma. And secondly, by sitting in the posture, our agitation of our mind and the dullness of our mind will be lessened. And then this third benefit is that the activities of our body, speech, and mind will also be lessened.
영화 예숨기 미개의 차와든 좀 인용으로는 예외 차와든 망으로 수박.
Yeah, so the meaning of that is that non-virtuous activities of body, speech, and mind will be lessened, and the virtuous activities of body, speech, and mind will be increased.
시바텔라 드는 아랑솔을 되게 녀몽바 마보 텐소 드네 마 시와참 드네 미도이시 차례라 드네 딘데기 규칙.
And the fourth benefit is that by sitting in the 7-point posture of Vairochana, our afflictive emotions will be reduced, and it will be easier to give rise to the non-conceptual wisdom.
나랑서 규다 녀몽방아 생겨라 녀몽방아 남도 숙청버라 디 남도 마 시와참 땡안다 남도 메바 미도베이시도 숙제기에서.
So we have these particular those 5 afflictive emotions, and these are afflict us, and they are these kind of afflictive concepts and the thoughts and emotions in our mind. And so when those are reduced, then the non-conceptual wisdom will then be able to naturally arise.
네, 다 당보 하나서 강바 도시 기능 제거와 다 강바 도시 기능데 되는 하나서 양 미카시에 되는 가서 그래 수부 작바된데나 되는 강바 도시 기능데 깔래요. 대토고 말에 대신 말에 개면배 양 강바 내바된데나 도시 기능 대신 말에 된데 이리라 나나서 남주 대바나신 남주 대바들 체질스 그래. 기능 체가 체질스 된데 되나야 되기래스.
So some of us may have difficulty to sit in the 7-point posture of Vairochana. For example, if somebody is really heavy, a really big person, overweight person, they may not be able to get into the posture. Or if somebody is, has an injury in their body of one kind or another, then they may not be able to do it. If you can't get into the 7-point posture of Vairochana because of these kinds of reasons, then it's okay to just sit as we do normally, which is generally called the half Vajra posture, just a normal cross-legged, just a regular cross-legged posture.
미카실라는 양 장미 강바데 라고니 있으면데 장인데 전에 장미 양 도지 지동들 잡통에는데 칼레칼레 장미 근데 그 장마야 되겠어.
So it's also possible to train your body to get into the Vajra posture, to train your legs to get into the Vajra posture. There's people, what you can do is take your, use your hands to stretch your legs and train over time. And eventually you can train to get into the position also.
네, 장이양 근데 두고면아 소세 간다 남기 되어 나시 지금 되쪽에스.
But if you still can't get into the Vajra posture, even by training your body, it's actually perfectly fine. It's okay to sit in the usual, regular cross-legged posture.
근데 된대기 도지기는 대바이나 되니 아라운서 되니 남내 제백값으로 되는 아라운서 그리고 이런 거 대두 그래.
So if we can get into get our legs into the Vajra posture, then when we practice, we'll be able to sit and practice for a long time.
네, 이런 거 대두거래 쉐바데 되는 아라운서 도지기동지는 이런 거 대두거래 됐으나 대 말에. 도지기동지는 이런 거 대두 말에 강반나기래 수보 탕치 그래. 또 이런 거 대두생에 아라운서 수보대 최치의 뒤즈들한테 이런 거 대두거래. 저랑 그 수보 된데선 쪽에 되나? 되니 저랑 최치 도구도 와. 수보대 대다고 쪽에 맞되나? 파도 추도나 되니 최치 도구면도 와.
So what I mean by that is not that you'll be able to sit for a long time in the Vajra posture itself, because after sitting for some time in the Vajra posture, your legs will start to hurt and it becomes very uncomfortable. But what I mean is that you'll be able to sit into your body in general and practice for a long time. because if you don't have this kind of set posture, then you'll be in different moving around in different ways, and you won't be able to sit to stay and focus on the practice as well. But if you are using this posture, then it enables you to stay in general for a longer time.
네, 라과디 냠샤샤와이나 그네 라과디 그런 저기 다 탑당 시랍 숨기를 라과이가 탑다고 라과이가 시랍다고 근데 냠도 샤양도 탑시 송죽 숨기를 해서 그런 저기 된 답이 최 제발에 담배 최시 제게 나양 탑당 시랍님을 때문에 두고고요. 근데 탑시 이 송들기 천재가 근데 라과 냠샤를 했어.
So as for the hand posture, the posture of meditation, or the mudra gesture of meditation, this has a meaning in which it symbolizes the unity of a skillful means and wisdom. So the right hand is symbolizes a skillful means, and the left hand symbolizes wisdom. So when you put your hands together, it's symbolizing that these two aspects of skillful means and wisdom are combined. And whatever Dharma practice we do, we always have to do it in this way, in which a skillful means and wisdom are combined. We always need skillful means and wisdom combined in the Dharma practice.
그냥 아랑저ኛ는데 탑시 야라도 손에 탑장바기 냠네 전화 안도 들고 똑두고 말해. 시랍 장바기 냠네 전화 안도 들고 똑두고 말해. 타다 시랍 냠도 제단되는 들고 똑두고요. 그런데 뒤 톱도 받쳐봐. 땜들 라관이 냠샤. 근데 냠샤샤바이나 마왕발랑아도 탑시 송주 냠네 제도가 땜들요.
So if we try to practice with just one of the two of skillful means and wisdom, if we try to practice with only skillful means and no wisdom, there's no way to attain the result. And likewise, if we try to practice only with wisdom and no skillful means, there's also no way that we obtain the result. So by putting our hands in this posture, it's setting up the auspicious circumstance that we will have skillful means and wisdom combined. If we sit in this posture with the hands in that meditation posture, then it will allow us to eventually combine skillful means and wisdom properly in our practice.
네 숨바든 가직 정보 상나 드네 저배전나라 딜라고요. 류창나 류창부 대가르였나 류창나 짜창스를 수본나라 짜망보지라 짜 류디 대가르였나 드네 짜딘조에 대가르 차기래라 짜창나 롱창스 짜디 정보였나 대 짜기나 롱요라 롱디야 대가르 약고 선한도 살라 도그리에서 드네 롱창나 드네 셈시와르네스 드네 셈디파시와 차도그래서.
So as far as the keeping our back straight, keeping a spine straight, is described in the text, Buddhist text, that if your body is straight, then the channels will be straight. So what this means is that we have these subtle channels in our body, and when our body is straight, then because the body is straight, then the channels will also become straight. And then it says if the channels are straight, then the wind or the prana will also be straight. So the wind, the prana is flowing through the channels. And so when the channels in turn are straight, then the wind will be flowing kind of properly and straight through this channel. And when the wind is flowing properly through our channels, then our mind will be at ease and peaceful.
ngarangi semdi shiwa chakson tene ngarangi nyamsolai cho kare yembate ngarangi nyamsolai kokaptiragire 다시 고 당보 남남 치된 대바이나 추주의 고갑당 된두그래 납기도 온데 류 정보 자나 짜창나 롱창 long chana sem shiwarne songre sem shiwarne na ngarangi sem de khari chigi inayang te cheto bigi kokap tyuze jirago ore ra maranzo sem de thela sabo yona chöche ge kokap dirage mindwa sem di shiwa le yona ta chöche na chöche ge kokap chagido.
So then by using this posture when our mind is peaceful and at ease, then this is when we really are able to practice the Dharma. This is when we really have it creates an opening for us to be able to practice the Dharma. So when our body is straight, then the channels will become straight. And when the channels are straight, the wind will flow straight. And when the wind is flowing straight, the mind will become calm and peaceful. And this is what allows us to practice the Dharma. This is what creates an opening for us to practice the Dharma. As I said at the beginning, this posture allows us, it will give us the opportunity or the opening to practice the Dharma. So it's when we get into this posture and our mind is peaceful and at ease, then we can apply our mind to Dharma. Otherwise, our mind is not peaceful and at ease. It's too scattered and things we can't practice, right? So this is the purpose here.
카레스나 계란기 쌤데 시와 차고 갑라 드니 계란기 쌤데 드니 회보 자연거래 구스 덕보여나 구스 덕보도 회보 자연거래 시와 차온데 계란기 쌤데 고양보 차도 그래 근데 이제 고양보 차고에나 계란기 쌤데 빼 기보 차고 계란기 쌤 기비 값del라 드니 계란기 쌤데 빼 당마예요 짱마 근데기 당막 여배 값을 짱마 짱장 여배 값을 딱 짱마 짱장 여배 값을 짱마 되게 자와 가르쳐놔야 제도고요.
So what happens when our mind becomes peaceful and calm, then because of that, we become relaxed. Isn't that true? That's what happens. You know, when our mind is peaceful and calm, then we become more relaxed. And then because we're more relaxed, our mind becomes more open and kind of easy, more easy and open. And then when our mind is in that state of being really easy and open, then we have this kind of joy or happiness. And with that kind of joy and happiness, it's a very pure state of mind. And when we're in this pure state of mind, then whatever we need to do with our mind, we can do it. So this is exactly related to the first benefit of practicing the 7-point posture of Vairochana that I talked about a minute ago. The first benefit of practicing 7-point posture of Vairochana is that we will be able to practice the Dharma or have an opening opportunity to practice the Dharma. So this is exactly what it does here when we, exactly what I'm describing here when the body is straight, the back straight, and so on, and the mind is at peace, peaceful and calm.
네, 시바테, 네, 봉바, 거기 쇼바터 장와스, 그래서 동바, 동샤기도, 봉바, 장고도, 장고도, 대장나 가리요레스나, 근데 대지 발라 룽루고요레스, 근데 발라 룽루데 아니 미디라 차왈릭 말에 수불 트레릭 말에 숙심보, 배는 안 하는데 스테바이나도 수불 트레릭, 수불 트레릭나 아니 미디 녀도 차기. 달바데 데 장나 텔라 룽루데 미디게 수불라 차와디 야밀레 실부 차오 미디 실부 빼 차오나데 수부도 빼 양부 차오.
So then for the fourth point is to keep our shoulders, or maybe more the upper arms, also like a vulture. So what we do is kind of like extend the arm a little bit so there's a space here, not with their arms connected to the body, but a little space there. And so what that does is that it prevents the body from being too hot. And And because if we sit like this, their arms connected to the body, then the body may become too hot, and it's a kind of uncomfortable kind of state to be in. And when you extend the arms like that, then there's air can go through, and it makes your body cooler. And then because your body is cooler, because
Silbu.
because the
Silbu yung
Gemma
subu tebo chagra.
oh yeah, then you become so because you're
Comfortable like that. Comfortable like that.
yeah, because then because there's this airflow is happening in your body, then you become cooler, and then you'll be comfortable, and yeah, you'll be a more comfortable way to sit.
저랑 텐데스 때다 텐데스 때나 아니 아주 차와 바로 되는 운나도 되는 저랑 수부디 comfortable 도게 면도.
So you can try this to sit like this with your arms pressed against your body, and you get hot and you start to sweat in your body. This is not comfortable at all, is it? And if you try this, just extend the arms in this way, then it's really nice. There's a lot of air, there's airflow, and more comfortable.
아니 나바데 timbato some google rest some google rest to some gobaina careers나 그냥 아람 저기 수부당 먼저 timba데 대보차기 가시 계란기 timba데 또 some 마군 tim바인데 다버 잡라 잡아 그 나기래 담부대 나더니 수부 나기래 근데 진짜 대당 양 나기래 근데 스테데도 나기래 근데 스테는 나그마.
So the next point is to slightly bend your neck, or slightly bend your head forward. And what this does is that it prevents your throat, it prevents your neck from becoming uncomfortable or hurting. There's other postures that you may do with your neck, like if you look up or look down to the side and things like that, you will start to get sore and it will start to hurt. But if you just slightly bend your head forward like this, then your neck will not get sore.
테네 대토라 테네 저 남나치티 믹나젤라 파바라이스도 어느 고딕스 코나 고 timbato some gobaina 테네 믹나젤라 파벨라 답되고요. 테네 저랑기 고딕데 지나 믹나젤라 파나 네 파여기 율 타는 것도 통구도 와. 바로 율 타는 것도 하면
So this also goes together with the other point of looking, this described of looking down your nose with your eyes. If you bend your head slightly forward, then your eyes will naturally go into the right direction that's described there. Otherwise, if you like, for example, leaning your head up and looking down your nose, then you're looking at all kinds of, you're looking into the distance and you see all kinds of things, different sights that are in the distance, and then this would create more thoughts and distraction.
네. 바 제야겐라 잡고 제야겐라 잡아이나 테네 카나라 추멍보 등 말에 테네 미바양 감기 말에 저랑기 카당데 제야라 맞잖아 저랑 미바 감기래 카네 치마망보 등기래 등기 용거.
So the sixth point is to touch the tip of your tongue, the tip of your tongue to your palate, the roof of your mouth. And what this does is it prevents the saliva from flowing in your mouth on the one hand, and also it prevents your throat from getting dry. If you open your mouth and don't connect your tongue to your palate, then saliva will flow more inside your mouth and your throat also will get dry. So this happens to us, doesn't it, that when we sleep, sometimes our mouth is open and we'll start to drool out saliva, and then our throat will get dry and we'll start to cough and so on.
Tene dimbadi mignazela papa asela. Ta mignazela papa asela to chidangi migdi anetine rangi nagu gipane sor tuk yang sor chu. Te parla tago gures tuk ni chui parla.
So the final point here is that to have your eyes look down your nose. So it's described in this way as having your eyes directed at the tip of your nose, but actually what it means is that your vision, your gaze should be between 6 and 10 finger breadths from your nose. So if you have like 6 finger breadths here from your nose and then 10, it should be somewhere, should be looking down somewhere in that area.
ane chitangi ngana so namnang chidin de ko so dashi mikzum ne de dos. Mikzum ne de yo mares. Mikzum ne de na tene chingwal lebi. Marang so la chingge sera. Tajing yegi de namnang chidin de ba na pendoni ba de chingge nyungro dugre lapso. onde mik de dango go yore. Mik dana dango go re ina mik de tagrung go dae yore so tagrung go dae ba. Mik dang ba ina tene 징화 들라고 그래. 징화랑 하나 좀 숨이래. 징, 목, 팁스. 담보 징스인데 창어. 징스는 막 팁자 레바. 근데 목스는 다 하람 니 구도라고 쳐. 징, 목, 팁스 되는 니 뭐말 레바더라도 징, 목, 팁스는 숨이래. 근데 림바 신도 립스틱이 레스 믹좀 대바이나.
So some people may practice this posture with their eyes closed, but this is not the right way to practice it. You should have your eyes open, because if you practice it with your eyes closed, then you will you can fall prey to dullness. But at the same time, you shouldn't look like really with wide open eyes, staring far away. But anyway, they talk about this there's two obstacles to meditation of dullness and agitation. And so if you keep your eyes closed, what will happen if you keep your eyes open? If you don't close your eyes, you will avoid the dullness. It will prevent this dull state. And there's 3 levels to dullness in this way, this kind of dullness. There's the first one you can translate as kind of sinking. And in any case, the first level of dullness, you can translate as sinking, maybe is that you have you start to feel a slight tendency to go into a dull state of mind or sleepy state of mind. And then the second level of the state of dullness is when you you really have arrived at a more full level of sleepiness and a dullness, like almost like you're going to sleep. And then the third type is when you're really actually falling asleep directly.
아야 징목 핍숨 센터 믹좀나 레기스 다 믹좀나 징목 핍숨 레기도 이나야 다 믹베 타오른 거다고 두었나 타오른 거다지요 말에스 다징아 술 죽네 죽이 천절을 따고래 라바라 다술 죽네 죽이 천절을 마다 지랑 타오른 거다나 근데 고에생들레 징 고에스다 고에선 렘나 되니 고라양 초 잠숨스미여 초와서 남도 초용 남도 바 초니 다데 기공도와 삼바라 기공 까르보도와 삼바 잠스나 바 갸치로 돈 초와스나 남도 샤와 되니 고바스 초 고에서 되니 파 남도 초 고에서 남도라 빨리 봤다 빨리 봐 되니 잠스나 바 갸침보 샤나 되니 남도도 수국 맞다 봐 된대 차고.
So yeah, in this way, if you close your eyes when you're meditating, then you may fall into the state of dullness. But then at the same time, you shouldn't open your eyes like, and really stare into the distance, like open your eyes really wide in that way, or look in a really, really wide way. You should look, as I said before, just down from 6 to 10 finger breadths from your nose. Because what happens if you look too far away, or if you're looking too far away or too widely with a wide eye, then you will run into the second type of meditation obstacle, which is agitation. So again, here there's 3 levels to agitation. There's the first level you can call it's like it's like projecting your mind out, or your mind is going out into the external world. So then in this first level, which is you can translate as projecting, then you notice things around you and you start to have these thoughts. You're projecting your mind outwards and starting to think about the external world. Like you may see the window here and say, oh, there's the window, it's a white window, and have these thoughts. This is the first level. And then the second level of agitation is also called agitation, which means that the thoughts become stronger and more like a frequent, stronger. And then the third level, which is a kind of expansion, or is a spread, like a full spreading. This is when your thoughts become so strong and distracting and so numerous that you can't control anymore. You can't bring your mind back anymore.
팀습 당 드니 초그 잠숨 대다 삼아 드니 융루소에 메바소에디 탑시 가레스나 믹나기 젤라다이데스.
So in order to avoid these obstacles, the 3 levels of dullness or sinking, also, which is hard to translate, but maybe dullness. I don't know how to translate it. Anyway, dullness and
니코니타 사자마차바나 칭이 티바스가 칭 목세나드네 다람 나공차 시라 니기타 시라고 팁생드네 가야서메 메바 처음에 잡아도.
So so the first obstacle is dullness. So where you have no kind of a clear, your mind is really unclear, and you can't your level of awareness is kind of reduced. And so we go through these 3 levels of that. And the second level, which is, anyway, the second level is where you get really further into that state of dullness, and you really can't think clearly, and the awareness is very low. Your awareness is very dull. And then finally, the complete dullness, the third stage, is when you're just completely unaware. And so to avoid that, and those 3 types of dullness, the dullness with those 3 levels, and to avoid the agitation with the 3 levels of the projection, agitation, and the kind of complete spreading, or it's the complete spreading, or the way to avoid these two obstacles is to just rest your eyes a little bit downwards, down your nose, looking down your nose from 6 to 10 finger breaths from your nose.
세상 miknazela 파바이나 테니 린나난 치딘데까지 펜도 니바 중계 임으로 들어와 생각들 중계 살와.
Yeah, so this is by putting into place this point of the 7-point posture, looking down your nose with your eyes, then we will get to the second benefit that I mentioned of the 7-point posture of Vairochana, which is that it will reduce dullness and agitation, or clear away the dullness and agitation.
테네 숨바데 테네 용아 예숨지 자원용으로 와 랍상에 다시 다처럼게 강바도지 기둥샤 라바도지 냠샤 샤바이나 루이 레가 미게레 레가 망부시 데카도 저랑기 저랑 왔다다 저랑기 강바도지 기둥샤 라바 냠샤 시티 저랑기 내가 제도고 두게 저랑기 강배 내가 제도고 두게 총기 내가 제도고 두게 민도와.
So then the third benefit of this 7-point posture Vairochana is that it will reduce our non-virtuous activities. So if you think about it, try and just sit with your legs in the Vajra posture and your hands in the meditation posture. Will you be committing any non-virtuous actions in that posture? I don't think it's possible to do that. You won't be go out and try to make money or do business and things like this. It's impossible. This will prevent you from doing that.
네, timba 또 삼구바다. 제야겐라 저와이나 마기 미게와 망고 라비에디 상만 가도.
So the Talmud do, right? Oh, yeah. So this first so the first 3 points, putting the legs in the Vajra posture and the hands in meditation posture and the back, keeping your spine straight, keeping your back straight, these prevent our body from doing non-virtuous activities, prevent us from doing non-virtue of the body. And when you put your when you bend your head slightly forward and put your tip of your tongue on your palate, this will prevent you from doing any non-virtue of the speech.
계란게 류기 레가시 제국이나 강박 구조 땅거래 락박 구조 땅거래 수복 구조 땅거라 다처럼 강박도 중제 락박 냠시 작가지 정보 전에 샤샤와진 류기 레가 제메바.
So in order to do non-virtue with your body, you have to move your legs, your arms, and so on, right? But when you are sitting in the Vajra posture with your legs and the meditation posture with your hand, you can't move your legs and your arms in that way, so you can't do any non-virtue, bodily non-virtue.
네, 이바데 전바도 삼국바동 제야겐라 저와이나 괜찮은 대제 시도그레베 시도그면도와 나기 미게와 망보치 대가르고도와.
So also in the same way, when you bend your head slightly and put your tongue at the top, connect your tongue to the palate, you can't speak, isn't it? So it actually prevents a lot of non-virtue. This non-virtue of our speech, a lot of that will be just eliminated by getting into the posture.
그러나싱이 저랑기 믹나셀라 파병도 저랑기 시에바디 거여서는 나셀라 팝사기 사지들아 저랑기 셈디 텔라 숭그로와 대숭의 값도 남도 망보데 미케투구도에 제투구민도와 세상 류기 자와 망고치 대가도 그래 나기 류기 레가 망보시 대가도 그래 나기 마와 미게와 마와 망보치 대가도 그래 이기 남도 망보치 대가도 그래.
And in the same way, when your eyes are looking down your nose, your mind will remain fixed on that point that your eyes are looking at. Your mind can't really go here and there, so you won't be able to all of these non-virtuous thoughts will not be able to arise in that way. You won't be able to think about this and that and go on with the non-virtuous thoughts. Just you can try this also, to look down your nose and see if you will be thinking about as many things before and have all this kind of unconstructive kind of thoughts as before. I don't think you will have them.
Indeed, the non-chitting debayana, Pendosumba, Pendosumba, the Annie.
So this is how the 7-point posture of Vairochana will give rise to this third benefit that I described, which was that the non-virtuous activities of body, speech, and mind will be greatly reduced or stopped. So the fourth benefit that I described of the 7-point posture of Vairochana is that our afflictive emotions and afflictive thoughts will be reduced, and the non-conceptual wisdom, or the wisdom beyond a thought, will arise. So first of all, the way this works is that when we put our legs into the Vajra posture, this will reduce the afflictive emotion of jealousy.
Number one,
and so then the second point, with putting our hands in the meditation posture, this will reduce our anger. And then because our anger is reduced, the anger is an afflictive emotion or afflictive thought. So when that is reduced, then we will be able to give rise to the non-conceptual wisdom, or the wisdom without thoughts, wisdom beyond thoughts, because this kind of thought is reduced. And by keeping our back straight, the ignorance will be reduced, and by the ignorance being reduced, then we will also be able to give rise to non-conceptual wisdom. And by bending or slightly bending our head forward, then the affective emotion of desire will be reduced. And when the affective emotion of desire is reduced, this affective concept or emotion of desire is reduced, then the non-conceptual wisdom will also be able to rise due to that. And the same way, by putting our tongue on our palate and looking with our eyes down our nose, this will also reduce the afflictive emotion of desire, and we will be able to give rise to non-conceptual wisdom. And there's actually one of the other points also reduces the ignorance. Not only the keeping the back straight reduces ignorance, but also keeping the arms a little bit extended like a vulture. This too will reduce ignorance.
계산 남낭 추딘 대바이나 tene namdok nyama manga bodo nyungru to tene mido ishi ya jeng res.
So the way that this works is that it's only when our mind has these afflictive emotions and these afflictive concepts reduced and pacified. It's only in that kind of condition that we will be able to give rise to non-conceptual wisdom. If we have all kinds of afflictive emotions and thoughts going on in our mind, it's impossible to give rise to non-conceptual wisdom. So by putting your body in the 7-point posture of Vairochana, these afflictive emotions will be reduced, and this will act as the condition for the rising of non-conceptual wisdom.
경쟁 가래서나 tene ngaranzo salung tugor nen chegen gi kapsuina tene ngaranzo tanda dinala doa dinala sa uma roma kyangma si sum doa o tenje sa uma tene roma kyangma idigosu roma la yang tene nyamong banga lungyu nyamong banga gi lungde tene sa uma la ya zudu sa uma la ya zudu tene nyamong ba shi dugo nyamong ba shi tawo nyamong nyung charu shiwa charu
Roma gi nyamong
Roma jang Roma la yang di nyamong banga yo chugre kyangma la yang nyamong banga yo chugro ta nyamong ba lung la tengura lung la tene nyamong ba jengura adi salung chulguri kapsu tanda ta gomare ta de karsena narangto jigi nyamong banga changiri lapsa changi bi jumjen de karsena tene salung chulguri ki kapsu ta lunganu yoga kapsura tanda ngazo ma yoga kapsura lunganu yoga kapsina salung chulgur shegire salung chulgur shede kapsu tsauma roma kyangma si delo doa tenzo re tenzo indi kapsu ta di layang tene lung yore lunga di layang lunga yore lung tenzo la tene di yore tursergi lung menyamji lung 캡체지 lung 사든데 캡체지 lung tene kenjoyi lung 아니 속전지 lung 근데 lung아요 lung 녀몽 방아라 lung아 때는 용구요 대 lung아 버든서 아니 가르스고래 남낭치디 내봐 있나 되니 자lun갑서 대 공구요 근데 녀몽 버든서 아니 우마라 팀도 내룩라 파팀도 그랬어 내룩라 파팀 송아이나 되니 녀몽 버시르고요
So this is the same kind of way that happens when we do the practice involving the channels and the winds and the kind of yoga exercises, the body exercises. Because there they talk about these three channels, these three main channels that are in this picture on the screen. The central channel, the Roma channel on the right side, and the Gangma channel on the left side. And there's 5 types of wind. There's a flowing in the so if you look on this diagram, the picture, the central one that goes all the way up the head through the head to the top of the head there, that's the central channel, and the 2 on the side that are going into the nose, these are the 2 channels on the side, on the right and left. So there's these 5 types of wind and that carry with them this 5 negative emotions. There's the kind of the main vital wind, the equalizing fiery wind, and the downward projecting wind, and the upward flowing wind, and the other one is and the pervading wind. So those in the channels on the side, on the right and left side, they're carrying these 5 winds that have the 5 negative motions, and then so the way that they meditate in the practices involving winds and the channels is those winds go into the central channel, and because the winds are going, those winds with afflictive emotions going into the central channel, then those afflictive emotions get pacified. The idea is that they're going into the central channel of the natural state or nature of reality when they go into central channel. but this is for the this is the practice that's done in the Anuyoga level. But here we are practicing in Mahayoga. But in any case, it's a similar kind of idea when you get into 7-point posture of Vairochana, that the winds get kind of this flow in a more pacified way, proper way.
다 이나야 단단 라운드 값수 단단 아주 남망 치딘 데베 값수 디자오 마로마 장마스도 공부고요 말해서 단단 이 시에바디 가르스나 녀몽방아 버디 컨디션 시비어스 시당데 디레슨 시비어레 라바 잠브레스 자오 마로마 장마 단단 공부고요 말해서 단단 아주 도시지동 대바이나 타도기 남도 시비도 라바냠샤 샤바이나 시당기 남도 시비도 가지 정보상 공부한테 장바나 데모기 남도 시비고요레 아니 dimba enzam gobaina doshagi namdo shibu kore migna zeba che agna jana tene khas kore ngajagi namdo shibu haguwa jam gitires.
So but for now we don't have to meditate on these channels, but I was just explaining this to give you an idea of how these negative emotions can come, how these afflictive emotions come about based on the winds and the channels. So for now, you don't have to do this kind of practice where you meditate on the channels, but now it's sufficient just to sit in the 7-point posture of Vairochana and then bring to mind that the Vajra, the legs in the Vajra posture will reduce the jealousy, and the hands in the meditation posture will reduce the anger, and keeping your back straight and your arms out to the side will reduce ignorance, and keeping your head slightly bent will reduce desire, and looking down your nose and keeping your tongue to your palate will reduce the pride. This is all we have to do for now. This is the point here.
다 르기 냠nen데 르기 nenga 르기 냠nen데 남낭 최된기 남버낭적이 최된디 제국도와 대마인바 셴바치나 되게 말해서나 구름부치다고 되나 되게레베 남낭 최된 하나 지진 드라마다고 치는 되나 되게레베 남낭 최디 자기레베서나 대 르기 냠nen 자기요 말.
So we may wonder, do we absolutely have to sit in this 7-point posture of Vairochana? Is that in order to fulfill this practice of the body, or to put into place the key point of the body? Is that absolutely necessary? Is that the only one? Maybe we can also sit like Guru Rinpoche or like a Tara or some other posture. But if we sit in this other kind of posture, this here will actually not be the proper practice of the body.
민나양한테는 구름부치다고 집에 되나 펜도 여러베스나 펜도 몇번 말해 펜도 여러 지진로만 다부치는 대바이나 펜도 위험하래베스나 말해 펜도 여러 민나양 단대값을 봐봐 르기 냠nen데 되네 대답부치나 되게요 말해 르기 냠nen데 되나는 치딘 제국이 여러 다 르기 냠nen데 남남 치딘 제국이 좀 전에 가르스나 나랑서지 르디 단다 마타바로와 마타바인데 아니 르디 제마 닭바 차온데 넘버나지 샤용 number nangzi chawa yongbi genji tene nga rangzi tanda namnang chedin gomkore es chunzen diri tangna namnang number nangzi matangna nangzi korwegi mpungu.
So this is not to say that sitting in those other kinds of postures, like sitting in the same posture as Guru Rinpoche or Tara, it's not to say that those postures have no benefit. They do have some benefit, and there's reason for sitting in these other ways. But the thing is that for this practice, for this context of the practice we're doing here, we have to use the 7-point posture of Vairochana. It's not, you can't really use any other posture. This is the proper posture for the practice of the body. And the reason for that is that as we are now, our bodies are impure we are in this impure samsaric state, and by doing this practice of the body slowly over time, by sitting in the 7-point posture of Vairochana, then this will actually purify our body and will move away from the impure samsaric body into the body of Vairochana. Our body will actually become the body of Vairochana. So we will move we move from this impure state or the samsaric body into the state of the enlightened body of Vairochana.
강에서나 아니 상한 도체 티켓 나라 티니 아랑조 풍봉아 보데 티니 저와 링알라 따비요. 저와 링알라 따용도 수기 풍보 다용도 넘버 나제 차고래. 티니 철의 풍보 다용도 티니 렌진 중된 차. 티니 수기 풍보 철의 풍보 두시지 풍보 제용도 티니 나와 다의 차. 수당 서로와 두시 두제지 풍보 다용도 티니 되어도 받차고. 남시지 봉보 다용도 드네 도제선바 미겨 받차고 데네스는 장도 단단하는 수고 봉보디 넘버 나서 차용보다 제상 남만 최딩되고 좀 진대.
So it's described in the tantric teachings that the 5 aggregates of our person, of who we are, those are actually the 5 Buddhas. Our true identity is the 5 Buddhas. So the aggregate of matter or the aggregate of form is actually the Buddha Vairochana, and the aggregate of feeling is the Buddha Ratnasambhava, and the aggregate of the concept is the Buddha Amitabha, and the aggregate of formations is the Buddha Amoghasiddhi, and the aggregate of the consciousness, our consciousness, is actually the Buddha Akshobhya or Vajrasattva. So it's this is the way it works here, is that our body is, what our physical body is this aggregate of matter, aggregate of form, and so the identity of that aggregate of matter is Vairochana. So this is how we can transform the body into Vairochana.
세상 땅은 삼야 고스탄 것다 리 남는 최딘 라고시 대바이나야 펜도 컨텐츠 먹도 근데 야고도 도와 안서 다와기기도.
So you should really think about this and contemplate the 7-point posture of Vairochana and think about all these benefits. There's really so many benefits if you think about it, aren't there?
근데 리기네스 같은데 고고래 단내 선배 리기네가데 냠nen체나 리코랑기 냠nen체나 간데 지고도 지나마도 대시바 지고고 요레스라 펜도 간데 요바.
So this is what is meant by the key points of the body, or the practice of the body. So you should all understand exactly what this practice is, and understand all the benefits and the purpose of this practice as well.
니바디 나기네스다. 까 나기네딜라 테네 베제디나라 가리송도 테네 롱로 렌숨살스 도아 베제나라 타고 다 문도 베제디 추텐쇼스.
So now on to the key points of speech. So if you can display the preliminary practice text, it goes back into the text there. It says, after the awakening, right after the awakening from the sleep of ignorance, it says, I think the one before this, the one just before this, right after the right after the awakening from the dawn from the sleep of ignorance, it says, then 3 times exhale the stale breath. This is the key point of speech. So this instruction to exhale the stale breath 3 times, this is basically pointing to these kind of the key point of speech.
다 롱로 살에 나라 드네 가랑서 얘기 자랑서 같은 튠징 원들라 드네 비기네 나기네 얘기네 라마로 솔와데바 시여레 랍사 이나에 시디 디기나라 밍퉁기민도와 밍디디나라 가리퉁기도 롱로 살와 생학장과 지소퉁기도와 대인디 튠징 원도 튠징 원도기 냠nen데 롱로 살에 나라 두두고요레스 가베기 초도 가베 베와 베 마미나오
So everything that I've been teaching you about the preliminaries to the meditation session has this 3 parts of the key points of body, speech, and mind. It's not actually explicitly and with the 4th of supplicating the Guru of the preliminaries to the meditation session. It's not explicitly described in the text. It doesn't say here's the key point of body, speech, and mind. But actually, the meaning is actually here underneath, kind of hidden. When it says, then 3 times exhale the stale breath. This is the hidden meaning. There is actually, there is hidden there is actually the meaning that this is the practice of the key point of speech. So actually, this word breath here, lung in Tibetan, is in a secret way or hidden way is actually pointing to the preliminary practices to the meditation session. So how is it that this word breath is actually indicating the preliminaries to the meditation session in this kind of hidden way? The way that it's doing that is that first of all, our body depends on our breath. If our breath is not flowing properly, then we will get sick and our body will not be in good shape. And also, after we die, also, the reason that our body decays and rots is because there's no breath, or there's a prana or breath flowing through the body. So that our body actually depends on the breath. That's one point there. Yeah, so then secondly, also, that's the first point, that our body depends on the breath. And then secondly, our speech depends on the breath. In order to talk and speak, the breath is the main element there. There's all kinds of other parts, like the different parts of our mouth and the throat and so on, that involved in speaking. But the main factor is the breath. And also, finally, our mind also depends on the breath. If the breath is flowing properly, or we have the breath in a good shape, or the prana in a good shape, then our mind will also be in a good shape, just as I was explaining before, that if a body is straight, then our channels will be straight, and if our channels are straight, then the prana or breath will be flowing straight, and if our breath is flowing straight, then the mind will become calm and peaceful. This is based on the breath or the prana. So in this way, body, speech, and mind all depend on the breath.
Tene degi jela ro sing di jabdo, ro sing di jam di lung di la tene nganzo la pembi lung jidang mebe lung niwer, pendo mebe lung di tene ro na shir, tene nganzo mi shi sayo jela tene ro chak zaro jela ro di yuge ridwa, pendo mebe de yugoro, o tene nashing lung peme doko de yugoro esi kore, nganzo ta mi gewe lung tawo, tene 미개와 레기 룽들이 여러다 룽도 점하고 여러 대도 sama 유고고요. 전정한들 펜도요 말. 전정한들 내바자게. 전정한들 파 유고고요라. 유고고에 살살랍다 룽로 렌섬 살살.
So then this other word here, stale, the stale breath. This has to do with the fact that there can be beneficial types of breath or prana, and there can also be harmful types of breath. So here, the word in Tibetan is ro, which is more means corpse, dead body. So the word that they translate as stale is ro, is corpse. So in the same way that after we die and all that's left is a corpse, it's completely useless and it's something that we just have to get rid of. It doesn't do any good for anyone. So in the same way, there's these really useless forms of breath. There's this non-virtuous breath and the karmic breath or karmic wind and so on, all kinds of useless or harmful breath. So this is why we have to exhale it and get rid of it, expel it, clear it away. That's why it says 3 times exhale the stale breath.
수분나라 롱주 성스가 미수분나라 롱년바디 주에나 테네 미디 랑상 롱축 첨보랑에 소다고 테네 수부마지고다고 근데 자기도 롱주도 선데 암지기 롱멘적이도 따디로 데롱 로레 롱년바 롱 펜도메바 나랑라 펜도 요마라 데롱디 파유고 장마소고 살스.
So this is actually happens in terms of the medicine or Tibetan medicine, that this we talk about people who they get breath kind of disorder, or they get this kind of bad breath flowing in them, and when they get this kind of medical condition, then they will get angry easily and be really unhappy and so on. And so then the doctor will give them medicine for this kind of breath disorder. So what this is actually one of these forms of this harmful breath that we have to exhale and expel out of our body here. That's what happens in that case also. So in order to exhale this breath, or to the word there also you can understand as clear away or expel that stale breath. In order to do that, how many times we have to expel it or exhale it? We have to do that 3 times. So there's two methods of exhaling the breath 3 times. There's a more extensive way to do it and a more short, abbreviated way to do it. The extensive method for doing this is called exhaling the stale breath with 9 repetitions. So as far as this, the extensive method for doing this, that involves 9 repetitions. First, we exhale 3 times from the right nostril, and this counts as 1 time. Then we exhale 3 times from the left nostril. This counts as a 2nd time. And then we exhale 3 times through both nostrils, and this counts as the 3rd time to make it 3 times. And for the concise method, the short method to exhale the stale breath, we just exhale once through the right nostril, once through the left nostril, and then once through both nostrils to make it 3 times. And then there's another way to do the shorter method, which is just to do 3 times out of both the nostrils. 1, 2, 3 out of both nostrils. So this is why here it says 3 times exhale the stale breath, because in all of these methods we clear it out 3 times. So the time that we do the extensive method for exhaling with stale breath, which is where you have 9 repetitions, the time that we use that, you should do it at the beginning of your first session. Usually would be the pre-dawn session. So we do the extensive way at the beginning of the pre-dawn session, and then as for the 2 forms of the concise method, we do those for the other 3 sessions, for the morning session, the afternoon session, and the evening session, in whatever way you feel like you can do it. So this is generally how we do it when we're practicing kind of formal retreats in the retreat house and so on, retreat centers. But there's actually it's not really completely fixed. You can, if you want, you can do the 9-fold exhaling the stale breath for all 4 sessions, or you can do the concise form of exhaling the stale breath for all 4 sessions. It's not completely fixed.
가상얘기 되니 다음 아나운서 냠내지 제바이나 대다 엄바땡 것도 여 공만남 참제대 엄바땡도 엄바땡이 상제지 고만도 다 안조야 엄바마땡나 다 상제지 고만도에서 말에 최지에 영서 말에 야살라 삼나테 말레스 그rum지지 가르송 열에서는 유딘 중나 종질의 인장으로 웅송
이단 tumba. So I want to say something related to the last teaching session that we had, when I was talking about staying in isolation and teaching you about staying in a secluded place or isolated place. We were talking about that time that you have to stay in an isolated place where the victorious ones, the awakened masters of the past had stayed and blessed this place and so on. So you may get the idea that, oh, I can't, if I don't stay in this kind of isolated place, then I won't be able to practice the Dharma. Is really no point. I can't practice in the city, so I can't really do it. But you should not think like this, as this is not the right way to understand it. As the Guru Rinpoche said, if it accords with your mind, if it fits with your mind, then you can even stay in the city, he said.
저랑 연년치기 뒤지디 야보였나? 저랑 런데바 발제 가야 매바 등대기 뒤지 야보지 저러이나 대갑스 연년치에레스.
So if you get to the opportunity to practice Dharma, if there's some time in your life or opportunity in your life that comes up where you have no obstacles to practice Dharma, then that is the time and place when you should practice.
등대기 뒤지 점대에나 저랑 튼직 소나이 되게 튼이 소나이 되게 튼숨 소나이 되게 튼시 소나이 되게 했습니다.
And when you have this kind of situation in your life where you have the time to practice without an obstacle, you can practice with 1 session, with 2 sessions, with 3 sessions, or with 4 sessions. All of those are good.
심바 교고예요 말했어. 양 가장 가지 엄바랑 땡고를 다 엄바마 된다. 냠내치 용무도 통하다 보면 좀 통발을 되어래 자살을 되어래 냠내 가르쳐 버려. 삼기를 세발라데 교능을 그래서 근들레고 말했어. 자살을 예나양 쳐줘요.
So yeah, you should not feel discouraged, or you shouldn't feel discouraged by this what I was explaining about practicing in isolation or seclusion last time. You may think, oh, I can't do any practice if I live in the city. It's just not possible. It's too bad. I won't be able to do anything if I don't find a completely secluded place. But this is not how you should think. You shouldn't feel discouraged in this way at all. You can also practice in the city.
양 가시시기 당 냠내 엄바랑 제고도 선대 엄바 때라 로직 고디레스 엄바 때라 로직고 자살을 추님은 지금 말했어. 근데 저는 가서 정배 전부 자그랬어. 자살을 대바 해나양 좀 냠내 제고레스.
And it also may happen that you have the idea that you should practice in isolation, and then you just end up waiting for a year or some long time to practice. You're just waiting for that opportunity to go into isolation, but not practicing in the city. But this is also, you should avoid that pitfall. You should avoid that situation. So you should practice also while you're in the city.
저랑 엄바랑 로직 국대바이나 저랑 로직 낭라 가서 개와 치토에도 여바디니 저랑 제도고 말아 정천부 자기로 세상 정발라 되나요? 그런 연년 제.
Yeah, so this would be a great loss, a great waste if you just wait however long, for example, for 1 year to be able to stay in isolation and practice. It would be a great waste of time and a great loss, because if you think about you won't be doing any virtuous practice or Dharma practice while you're just waiting. So what you should do is, if you have to wait for 1 year, for example, to go into isolation, then for that 1 year that while you're waiting and you're living in the city, you should take every opportunity to practice the Dharma and practice virtue as much as you can also while you're living in the city.
손남대에 담제 색반이 덥네 예배 단남 밤제 대견가 나제 발람 조가 세베 솔레 로완 로와